Today, ladies and gentlemen of the internet, I've got some big plans to work on the spawn improvement project and to get to work on the grand task that's gonna be finishing the back of the mountain. So join me in my effort to build the most ambitious single-player survival world of all time, and if you should enjoy this video, consider leaving it a like and subscribing to join me in my quest for greatness. So grab your snacks and drinks, good folks, and without any further ado, let's just get right into the episode. Oh yeah, guess who's back in action? It's me. Yeah, that would have been the proper guess. Anyway, in the last episode, we started on the back of the mountain here by building these waterfalls that I'm super happy with, and I never actually showed you guys the finished product without the shaders, and I think it looks really cool. And so today, I think I want to prepare for the entire back of the mountain here by building the entire wireframe that we're going to have to work off of, which is going to take a lot of work before we go into a little bit more spawn improvement. Because, well, it's been quite some time since we worked over here on the spawn improvement project. I mean, we do of course have the house here that we're gonna have to update with all the changes that we've made after making this map, and then we've got the arena, but we don't really have everything else to go with it. It doesn't really feel like a medieval fair over here, does it? It feels kind of lonely, so we gotta change that, and today I kind of feel like building the start of the market out here. And can I just say that I think it's really awesome to crank up the render distance and just to be able to see the entire village over there and all of Ventia. Ventia's pretty big. Anyway, I keep getting distracted by my own project here, and there's something that I really need to show you guys, something that I need to get better at. And that something can be found all the way over here on the back side of the mountain. Down in here, I tried to build another farm. I tried to build one of these little dripstone farms, and I only had 5 pointed dripstone, which is why my farm is super slow. Yeah, I've managed to get 2 dripstone blocks out of this. So if anybody can tell me how dripstone farms actually work, well, I'd be very grateful, because this doesn't really... this is growing faster, for goodness sake. Other than that, though, I think it's time that we hop into the good old-fashioned intro time-lapse. I mean, it's been some time since we did a proper one, and yeah, to be fair, last episode was kind of intro time-lapse of the episode, but we still gotta do an intro time-lapse for this episode, and let me just say that it's gonna be a big one. So without any further ado, roll that intro time-lapse. Aw, yeah. Okay, starting off our intro time-lapse here, I want to extend the waterfall section so that it's more of a crescent shape and less of a straight line. I did say that one of the things that I felt was missing in the waterfalls in the last episode was a huge waterfall, so this squared off section you see right in the middle is going to be an enormous waterfall. Other than that, though, it's just kind of planning how the water is going to run down the mountain, how we want our rivers to look, and that kind of thing. But once I was done with that section, we have to start filling in the rest of the back of the mountain, and there's kind of 2 big sections I want to work on. A huge nature section and one that's going to have a town on it. And as you can see, there's just a whole bunch of dirt and stone lines going every which direction, and it's sort of hard to keep track of what's going on, so let me hop into first person and tell you guys what's happening. I'll see you on the other side. Alright guys, welcome back to the other side, and I'm standing here on this side of the mountain, as you can see, because there's something with the castle that kind of bothers me. Yep, it's the flags. It's definitely a really outdated design before I built the other castle, so I kind of want to update these flags. And speaking of updating flags, I really feel like we probably should update the ones up here on the monastery as well, so while I'm doing that, I'm going to show you guys the other side of the mountain and my plan for what I'm going to do. Alrighty, so you guys saw me build the wireframe here, and it's looking kind of wonky here. At least you guys can kind of understand the shape that I'm going for. But a few things, like the fact that the water coming down from this waterfall is going to come down here onto this slope into this pool over here, and it's also going to sort of go into this river out to the waterfall. A few of those things are probably fairly understandable. Another thing is that I really want that water to sort of come down here in the back and follow this dirt trail that I've made right here. Then it's going to come through this little archway that I built out of the mountain, follow this dirt path down and out into a waterfall on this side. Yeah, this is gonna take forever to build, isn't it? Well, another thought I had is that I really want this river right here to be kind of in a bit of a ravine. And I'm not exactly sure if I want to make this ravine like super steep on both sides yet, if I want to make this side kind of a mountain on its own. I'm very much in the deciding process when it comes to that, but I do know that up here on this layer, we want to connect this up to the storage system right here, and I definitely want to build an extension for the castle right here and make a few updates, a few tweaks tweaks, if you will, to the castle beyond just the flags. So definitely let me know, guys. Let me know what you would think would look cool over here. I think it's looking pretty good so far, and I hope you guys get a bit of an idea of what I'm gonna do. The one big elephant in the room, of course, is this whole side of the mountain right here. It's a lot bigger than I give it credit for, to be honest. Like, it's gonna take forever to just get that side done, but I did mention in the time lapse that there's gonna be this side that's gonna be sort of the nature section, and then this side right here is gonna connect up to the valley and be more of a city section. Let's just put it this way. If you Google images of Positano or Portofino, yeah, or really any coastal Italian city, you'll really understand what I want to go for on this side. Alrighty, now we're back on this side of the mountain, and I really want to show you guys what it looks like with the new flags. I replaced the dark blue with cyan, which kind of blends in with the roof color, I do admit, but I do love how these flags look. I think it looks amazing with the Ventia colors. It did look a lot like Finland's flag when I had the dark blue, so I just switched it up to these colors. I think it looks awesome. I also added a couple smaller flags to these towers right here, and I think it just rounds it off a little bit better since they didn't have flags before, but let me know what you guys think about these flags in the comments down below. I just think these ones look a little bit more detailed and majestic than the ones I made before, and I changed the ones over on the monastery as well. I just think they look a bit more animated, and I think that's awesome. Now, we do have a few other flags around, namely over there, but I think we could slap a few more flags around in this area, to be honest. Maybe not right now, but let me know if you guys get any bright ideas of where we should put flags. Okay, now that we've gotten the back of the mountain situation started and we've got these flags swapped out, I do want to talk about the spawn improvement project a bit because I've had a few thoughts on how we're going to change it, and it's going to be a bit different from what I first envisioned. As you can see, I've put in a few more paths, and I kind of want to make this section right here, like where these 4 paths sort of converge. So if you imagine this hill sort of bordering off the area as well, we'll have this little quadrant right here, this one, and we probably want to line this side with shops as well. We might make a few stands here and there along the water, but I generally want you to be able to see the water from the area, so I will probably not do that. We'll see going forward. But then we got this whole area over here, and as you can see, I've already laid out a little bit of a plan right here. That's what I want to start working on in this episode, because I'd like this area to be kind of a square, and then I want to fill that whole section and then this whole section right here with a bunch of buildings and make this a bit of a spawn town. Now, obviously, to put this into perspective, we're going to have this town here in the valley. There's going to be the one on the other side of the mountain here. We have the milling village, and obviously there's going to be Spawn Town, and all of this is what's going to constitute Ventia. At least the Ventia I have planned so far, so I think we can start going to work over here. Now, I do want to make this area a little bit more busy. It's closest to sort of the business center over here by the fair, and not like the residential area in the valley for the rich people. So what we're going to do is we're going to have this sort of market square right here, and then there's going to be a few houses over here that get the awesome view of the castle and all the colorful fields, so this will probably be a really expensive area as well. And now, the way I'm going to work on this compared to when I've worked on things before is a little bit different. Because, as you can see, I've only lined up this facade right here and not really worried about the back because I think we're going to have more buildings, like more apartment buildings sort of going across here diagonally and filling out this whole space. So I'm going to do something that I've never really done before and build sort of half a house and continue building the rest of the house probably in the next episode. It's more like we're going to build half of 2 houses that are connected right here, and then we'll have to build the rest. So it's kind of like we're building a whole house, like half of one here and half of another right here. Okay, so I put together some materials and let's get started here. I think the first thing we got to do is frame this out a little bit, so give me a second to do that. What I want to do is try to make this a little bit more detailed than I normally build and still have it feel kind of the same as over in the valley, which might be a bit difficult to do, but we'll see what we can do. So my idea here is kind of that the bottom floor here is going to be where the shop fronts are, and then the top floor is going to be more residence, so we got to make these kind of open and with some doors. Now, one thing that I've been experimenting with a lot is using different trap doors as windows, and I think my favorite for these medieval style builds is the oak trapdoor, so let's try that. I think it makes for a really interesting window and sometimes better than glass. I'll make a few glass windows on here as well and let you guys decide. I think I'm going to use the classic combination of dark oak and jungle because I think they go so well together, especially these stripped logs. Okay, something like this, and then we'll hang signs for whatever they're selling inside the shop. Make pretty cramped little shops in here, I think. As for this side, I think we're just going to go with some stone right now, texture it a bit, not to make it too busy. All right, so next up we got to add the frame for the second layer, so let me do that and I'll be right back with you guys. So I think let's just start from the bottom up. I want to add a little bit of a row of stairs right here for some detail to start off. Then we can add some trapdoors in between. After that, go ahead and add some fences. This is just going to add a little bit of depth with our dark oak plank texture compared to the dark oak wood right there. Oh yeah, then I think the final detail we're going to add is we're just going to add a little dark oak button to each of these right here, and that should be looking pretty good. Okay, I did something similar on this side, and I think it's time we move on to the next layer. We got to add some windows right here and some different kind of windows right here. In fact, we'll probably just have this one on this side. So the first obvious thing to do here is just going to be adding the trim to the roof, because we're going to be connecting some details from down there to the trim. So I'm just going to go up a layer here and do this all the way around. Okay, I did something here. I do have plans for this corner, so I'm not going to decorate that at all with this stuff, but I do think I really like this and the way this works out with the light gray glass panes. I think the arches here by the trim of the roof really gives it an interesting look, and I did the same thing over here. Now we kind of have to think about this side. I think this area over here is kind of a free opportunity for us to splash some color in here, and as for this window, I do have some ideas. I think what I want to do is add in a bay window like this. I think it's going to look cool overlooking the square, and don't mind my scaffolding right here. It's definitely very professional, okay? Other than that, I think we could texture up these walls a little bit by just cutting out sort of a zigzag pattern and putting some of these planks in here. I think that could look good. Then we'll go ahead and bring back our buttons and place them over here to add some more detail, and let's check this out from afar. Yeah, it's really coming together. The one thing I think is missing is a little bit of greenery up here, but other than that, I think we can move on towards the roof. This is looking awesome. Okay, so I started working on the sides here as well, because these sides aren't going to be connected to any other buildings. They're just going to be showing, so let me know what you think about these. I particularly like this window over on this side, but there's obviously more to come up here on the A-frame side of things. We do need to start on the roof, but before we do that, I kind of want to add a bit of a wooden tower on the side of the building here. So I've just collected myself a few materials, so without any further ado, roll that time lapse. There we are. What do you guys think? I think it's looking really awesome up there. I made sure to get the A-frames fixed in as well, but we do have a few details we got to get in before we can call this finished. I kind of would like to add a balcony up here and maybe some kind of window up here as well. I honestly think that this little town section is going to look really, really awesome if we keep this style consistent. Let me know what you guys think, but I am very excited to build this. So maybe we could just go above this window right here and knock this out and start building our balcony here. Okay, the balcony's in, and admittedly, it's not the biggest balcony of all time, but I'll take it. And this window over here, of course, is going to be nice to have a little bit more light on the upper floor. But now really all we're missing is a roof, and I've kind of teased what it's going to be already since we got the brick roof up here, and I think that's going to go so well with this style. So let me get a quick time lapse of the roof in, and I will see you guys on the other side. Okay, yeah, this is exactly what I envisioned. This is looking so awesome. I love these dark accents together with that brick. Oh, man. Yeah, I kind of think I've outdone myself here. Obviously, we do need to make a few more changes. We got to add these signs. We maybe have to do something a little bit more interesting with this stone whenever we figure out what shops we're going to use here. But overall, I am stoked about this result. And so here it is, the final product in this new style, and I think you guys are really going to like where I'm taking this project. It's going to add some more life and character beyond just the busy marketplace by the arena, and I just have to say that I really think I nailed the color combination for this one, and this is the style we're going to be going with for the entire town here. And as we turn around the building here, you're going to get to see what the backside looks like, which is obviously completely empty, where we have a ton of room to improve with a bunch more buildings connected to it. And I actually had another part planned for this video where we're going to build more of the marketplace, but we're gonna have to save that for the next episode because I'm really running out of time here. I gotta leave in like an hour 40 minutes. But before any of that, here you can see the full-scale zoomed out view of the spawn area. And as we continue to zoom out, I just want to say that I'm really happy with all the progress I managed to make this episode despite the time constraints that I've had. So I'm sorry that this episode is a little bit of a short one, but as always, if you stayed all the way to the end, then you're the champ, and I appreciate your existence. And until we see each other next time, have a good one.